Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be ranking all of the horses that I've trained in January of this year so far. I just want to make it clear that all horses are at the same level in this video, which is level 15, and I am not going to be changing anything about my outfit during these videos so that everything stays consistent. I will also be listing the years that some of these models came out in-game because I think it's fair to acknowledge the age of some of them, but also appreciate how far the Star Stable team has come when it comes to animation and the design of these horses. Alright, so these are the horses that we're going to be reviewing. We have the Marwari model, which was released in August of 2020. We have the Irish Cob, which was released in December of 2019. We have Prisma, which uses the Appaloosa model. That model was originally released in January of 2022, but Prisma was released in June of 2023. We have my Embermane, which uses the Jorvik Wild model, originally launched in October of 2020. Embermane was launched in November of 2020. Then we have my Paint Horse, that was released in September of 2021. And the Sylvian Unicorn uses the Paso Fino model. It was originally launched in May of 2022. And then the Sylvian Unicorn was launched in December of 2022. We have my Vettel, which uses the Shire model, originally launched in August of 2022. Vettel was launched in December of 2023. I have another Jorvik Wild Horse, so again, October 2022 for that model. I have my Calder, which uses the Paso Fino model, just like the Sylvian Unicorn. Once again, Paso Fino Gen 3 was launched in May of 2022, and the Calder was launched in March of 2023. Anthea uses the Halflinger model. Originally, it was launched in June of 2022, but Anthea was released in August of 2022. I then have my Telena, which uses the Akalteki model, and the original model for that horse was May 2019, but they went ahead and released Telena in June of 2020. And then last but not least, I have my Welsh Pony, and that model was released in February of 2022. The first way that I'm going to be ranking these horses is based on their animations and their gaits, and these are the selections that I have made. So at the top here, we have my Welsh Pony and my Appaloosa Prisma. I think that the Star Stable team did really well on these two horses. Specifically, the Welsh Pony, I think they did amazing when it comes to animating the mane and the tail. I think that they did a good job animating the way that it runs, the way that it holds its head and neck, and the way that it jumps. For Prisma, I thought they did a really good job with the gaits. I found everything very smooth, the transitions between them. I actually really liked how high and how far this horse seems to jump compared to other horses of its size. It seemed like it had absolutely no problem clearing any obstacle and I didn't get stuck on anything. I think the only complaint I had with Prisma overall was that it didn't match any of my tack. And then for the next rung, we have my Anthea and my two Jorvik Wilds. I understand that the Jorvik Wilds have a little bit more age on them than the horses above them, and I'm acknowledging that. I still think they do extremely well considering their age. I really enjoy specifically the regular Jorvik Wild, its appearance and just how its tail is animated. I enjoy that. For my Anthea, I actually put down in my notes that its jumping is really good. I enjoy the animations on that. And I actually just really appreciate the coat color because all of the other halflingers in the game have lighter colored coats, or it's like a deep liver chestnut, and I enjoyed having this rowan color on it. And then for tier B, we have both of the Paso Fino models, the Marwari and the Irish Cob. My only complaint with the Paso Fino models, genuinely, is their hind legs. Whenever they are in a full fast gallop, there's something that goes on their hind legs, and I believe that it just needs to be picked up sooner than the game is animated for it to do so. I just don't like how it looks, and I feel like the animations could have been improved a little bit on there, and I did a little bit of research online. It seems like there are other players that feel the same way as me. And then if anybody knows anything about me, you know that my favorite horse breed in the whole wide world is the Marwari. I would love to have one in real life. It's never going to happen. I just think they're the most beautiful horses in the world, and I feel like they were done so dirty by Star Stable. Whenever they were actually asking people which models should be remade, I voted immediately for Marwari. I feel like the Marwari was done so dirty. And it's not even like how the horse looks itself. Like they did really good with the ears. The body looks good. It's not like super stick thin like the Akalteki. Like it still is very distinctive. I don't like how the tail is animated at all. It does not look natural. It just kind of flicks around, kind of like the Akalteki also. I don't like it. Um, I wrote down that all of the gaits feel very clunky, especially whenever it's rearing and then whenever it's coming to a sudden stop. And I'm just really disappointed in how that horse came out. And when it comes to the Irish Cob, I actually appreciate how well they animated the mane and the tail and the feathering on the legs despite its age. This horse released in 2019. I think my only complaint is that I don't appreciate its canter. There's something about it that just doesn't look right. It kind of looks like there's a weight imbalance between the legs. So the paint horse has a lot of animations that we can look at. I do really think the spin is cool, but overall, all of the gaits, all of the special moves that it can do, the first thing that I wrote down after riding this horse was if a horse had ADHD. And I'm sure that's just in its nature to begin with, but like compared to everything else I have ridden, it just the way that it rears is way too fast and aggressive. It's like you don't even have time to process the movements of the horse. When it moves backwards, it almost seems to move backwards quicker than it moves forward, especially whenever it's at a low level. I do think the idle animations are super cute, which is like the only saving grace for me. Like I just did not appreciate the animations of this horse. I just think the motions are like a little bit too quick and too aggressive, and I couldn't take it seriously. I was really disappointed in the Shire for the Vettel model. I really like draft horses. They're like my favorite horses to ride. I think they're beautiful, and besides like the little lip wiggle idle animation that the Shires have, I was extremely disappointed with this horse. I think that's the reason why it's not in the D tier. It's just whenever you're running, which I'll show you a video of, whenever it's like in full gallop, it almost seems like the hindquarters are taller than the front of the horse, and as such there's like a back and forth like wobble whenever it's running. It just doesn't look like it's balanced. It looks like it's in pain almost. And I understand too that these specific horses in real life are not made to run. They're not made to race. They're meant to pull at slower paces. And I'm not sure if that has something to do with it or not. The other issue I had with the horse is like even when you're running, like you might be going at the same speed as any other horse whenever you're wearing the same tack with the same level horse you're at. But this horse just feels slow. It feels like you're not going anywhere. And I also don't really like the animation on its hair. Like the mane and tail, considering that it was released in 2023, I feel like it could have been better. There are horses that were released before that time that look a lot better. Alright, so in the D tier we have my Talina and my Ayla. So that's the Akalteki model and the Andalusian. I was really disappointed in both of these horses, actually. My very first horse that I purchased on Star Stable after my, beginner horse was the original Gen 1 Andalusian, and it was my favorite horse ever. She's still my favorite horse. I still ride her all the time. Her name's Raven Ghost, and I was so excited to see that they were remaking this horse model, this breed, and I was really excited to get an updated version of Raven Ghost. And when I seen what they did to them, I was just very disappointed. But actually, I'm not even going to be going after the breed itself when it comes to the Andalusian, but specifically what they did with Ayla's mane and tail. It just kind of, the way that the braids are made and designed, they just kind of flop around. They're not well animated, and it also really ruins a lot of photos because like whenever you're rearing or you're jumping or any sudden motions, the braid on its forelock flips around and it looks super goofy, and I just can't stand it. The other issue with the Andalusian model I have is when you're running, like when you're at a full gallop riding this horse, it feels like you're riding a spider. I don't know how to explain it, but the way that the legs are moving, it's very I don't know, like floppy, flowy, but it also, like, scuttles. And I don't know how to explain it. You have to ride it. But, like, riding this horse, this Gen 3 Andalusian model, it feels like you're riding a spider. That's the only way that I could explain it. And I was extremely disappointed because I was really excited for this horse, especially since it has, like, the crescent moons on its legs and stuff. It was so pretty. I really liked it. But yeah, that's mostly why it's down here. All of the running is bad. All of the gaits suck. The hair animations suck. I do not like this horse. I was dreading training it, and it was like pulling teeth to get through it. And as for the Akelteki, it has a little bit more of an excuse because the breed itself is built this way. But I kind of felt similar, like with the gaits. Like it didn't necessarily feel like you're riding a spider, but its legs are so thin and so long, and the way that it kind of just like scoots across, I don't like it. Also, the tail is the worst manufactured tail I've ever seen on any of the horses in this game. I understand that the breed has like a thinner tail, but like the end of it has like no texture. It's just all one solid object, and as you're running, it just flicks up and down, and that's it. I do not like riding this horse. Everything else is okay, but yeah, it's just like when you're running, it feels kind of weird, and the tail on the Akelteki is just not good. And then in the spirit of fairness, I did also categorize these horses by design. So I will be looking more at the physical appearance of the horses here versus how they actually ride or how their gaits look, how their animations are. So these are my selections when it comes to design. Not going to go super deep into everything, but in the S tier, we have my Welsh pony, and then we have my regular Jorvik wild horse, and then we have my Calder. I don't feel like I need to explain too far, but Calder is absolutely gorgeous. Her magic coat, she is covered in crystals that actually do change in the light depending on what angle you look at it. They did absolutely amazing with this horse. Mane and tail looks great too. And I like the natural coat color of that horse. For the Jorvik Wild, I think I'm just a sucker for this entire breed. Those tails are absolutely beautiful. I love the little beard. I love the little tufts of fur underneath their body as well. Their ears are slightly curled with the fur. I think that's beautiful. And then this also has like the little heart in the mane hair, and I think that's cute as well. So that gets top tier for me. And the reason why Maisie, my Welsh pony, is also in the S tier is I think at least of the 120 something horses I've fully trained in the game, this is one of the most manicured horses that I've ever ridden. Everything is perfect about this horse. I don't normally like braids on the horses because I think they look weird. They still made it look beautiful. The tail looks beautiful. All of the gaits are great. Just the coat color itself is beautiful. I think they did an amazing job with this horse, and I will be riding it again. For the A tier, we have the Sylvian Unicorn, we have Harpy my Anthea, and then we have Prisma with the Appaloosa model. Once again, I don't think I really need to defend these choices too much, but the Sylvian Unicorn is really pretty. In the dark, she sparkles. There's like these beautiful like little sparkly glitters in her mane and her tail, on her legs. I really like that even though there's not much of a difference between the two models, that her hooves change to like a bluish gray, like cloven hoof. I think that's really cute. My Anthea is also really awesome, which is why she's in the A tier. I actually don't love her magic coat, which is probably why she's in the A tier, not the S tier. I just appreciate that she is a darker colored halflinger, because I did not want a brown, and I did not want like a lighter color, and that's pretty much all the colors that they come in. So I really appreciate this horse, and once again, they did really good on the mane and tail, and it looks good. Alright, and then lastly in the A tier, we have my Prisma, which uses the Appaloosa model. I love everything about this horse visually, except for the mane and tail. The magic coat is beautiful. I love the pastel rainbow. I love the natural coat. I don't love how the mane and tail is animated. This horse was released in June of 2023. The original model was released in January of 2022. I feel like at that point we had horses already, and the manes and tails were already being animated better than this. It seems stiff, it seems sticky, it seems not flowy. I do not like it. In the B tier, we have my Irish Cob, we have my Ember Mane, and then we have my Paint Horse. For my Irish Cob, I think I only put it in the B tier just because of its age, to be honest, and probably the same with the Ember Mane. The Ember Mane doesn't have, like, the fancy little long tail that the other Jorvik Wild has, which is why that's down there. But also, just, like, its hair did not have the opportunity to be animated in the same way that the horses above it did because of its age. And that's not any fault of its own, but it is just a reality. I think they're really beautiful, both the Ember Mane and the Irish Cob. But I just think that their age is starting to show on them, and that's totally fine. For the Paint Horse, I feel like I have the same argument as I did for my Prisma. This horse is way too young to be having, like, the amount of stiffness and lack of flowiness, and just the way that the mane and tail is animated. I don't love it. So then we're going to go ahead and come down to the C tier, which is my Vettel Shire and my Ayla Andalusian. I already kind of addressed some issues with these horses in regards to their animations, but we're purely just going to look at them design-wise. For my Vettel, I hate to say this, but I cannot stand its magic coat. I think it's awful. I almost think they were trying to go for something like Elsa's Castle or something, but it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. It doesn't look like it belongs on that horse, I should say. I feel like this was probably a design made for one horse and then they put it on another. And even like the icicles in its mane just could not save it. I just don't appreciate it. And in regards to Ayla, I'm going to try to keep my bias in regards to the gaits out of this because the horse ride is just so horrible. And I know I kind of already talked about the hair a little bit in regards to like the animations, but the hair just doesn't look good. I just don't think it looks great. Once again, there's very little difference between the magic coat and the natural coat, and I just feel like this horse could have been done a little bit better. And then finally, in my D tier, we have the Akalteki Talina and my Marwari. For Talina, I know that they put so much work and effort into the natural coat of this horse. I don't like it. And I don't know if it's because it's, like, just a shade of brown that I don't normally collect, or what. Like, normally, like, I like horses with, like, the unique coat colors and, like, the little, like, Rubicano, like, little, like, lines on the side of it. Like, I normally like stuff like that, but I don't like how it looks on this horse. It also, like, the head of it seems very plain. And I don't really like the magic coat either, but I did discuss on Facebook how I feel like if they would have taken the magic horse design of Talina and put it on, like, you know, like a green horse, like, I feel like it would have gave, like, swamp monster vibes, and I feel like it would have sold better. I feel like it would have looked better. I almost feel like the Marwaris are, like, plain when it comes to the base body design, but then they tried a little too hard with some of the coat colors. Of course, that doesn't apply here because I have just, like, the plain black Marwari. But if you look at some of their coat colors, I feel like they were trying too hard with the coat colors and not so much on the actual model designs. But that's just my opinion. So then for the last tier, we're going to talk about rideability. So for me, this means, does this horse get stuck on a lot of things? Does this horse clear jumps well? Do I have a hard time turning? Like, all of these things are going to be put into perspective for this ranking. So in the S tier, we have my Anthea and my Welsh Pony again. I will be singing the praises of this Welsh Pony till the day that I die. I think they did amazing on this Welsh Pony. Turns are really good. Jumps are really good. The gaits look good. Don't really get stuck on anything. And it is a shorter horse. It's a pony, so, like, usually I don't have a hard time when it comes to turning and jumping with these horses. Anthea did really good too. kind of the same deal. Jumps are good, turning's pretty good. I did not get stuck on like anything riding this horse. I just really appreciated riding both of these horses. It was a good time. And then going down to the A tier, we have my 2 Paso Fino models, and then we have Appaloosa Prisma. For the Paso Finos, once again, they did really good. We did get stuck on a couple of things with these 2 horses, but honestly, like, that could be user error. I could be clumsy, that's fine. Jumps are pretty decent. They weren't as good as the S tier horses, but I do remember that they didn't turn as well, but they seemed to recover quicker. Like, they seemed to recover quicker whenever they hit something or got stuck on something, and I really appreciated that. And then as for my Prisma, they did really well too. Besides the gate transitions being really smooth, they have really big jumps, and that can either help or hurt you. But I think that this would be like a really good, like, steeplechase show jumping horse. Like, I feel like very good at jumps, very good at clearing them, no issues. I enjoyed riding this horse. In the B tier, we have my Irish Cob, and then we have my paint horse, Space Ghost. For the Irish Cob, it is a bigger horse, totally understandable. It's going to get stuck on things. It's going to get lodged in places. Like, I have always had that with the bigger horses. It's fine. And again, it's also older, so that is why it is down there. Otherwise, it is a very pleasant ride. The jumps are good. The jumps are clean. But yeah, it's just a bigger, bulkier horse, and you kind of feel it a little bit whenever you're riding. And then for my paint horse, as I said before, it literally feels like if a horse had ADHD. I feel like it is, like, ready to go, ready to take off, like, wants to move fast, move quick, which is great, but it seems almost hyperactive. It seems like it always wants to get stuck on something, and it was just really obnoxious riding this horse. In my C tier, we have the 2 Jorvik Wilds. They do belong together, they ride the same, and I feel the same way. For both of these horses, for all of the Jorvik Wild models, I feel like when you're riding them, they feel short. And I don't mean, like, tall-wise, but, like, length-wise. Like, you feel like you're riding a taller horse, and because of that, you're going to get stuck. You might have a harder time seeing what's in front of you, or like when you need to jump, like gauging because of that height difference. But at the same time, the way that they run and the way that they move, it almost feels like they're short, like they're not as long as they should be. And it feels weird. It makes the riding feel weird. But I think that's also a unique experience of this breed, and that's also kind of why I like them, because they are unique to Jorvik. I feel like that's their breed distinction, and I kind of like that. And then there are a lot of horses in the D tier, so we're going to go over it. Absolutely no surprise that the Akalteki and the Andalusian are down there. I already said, like, the legs feel weird, they ride weird. There's something about it, but it with the Andalusian, it feels like you're riding a spider, and with the Akalteki, it doesn't even feel like you're riding a horse. It's just the legs are strange. The Akalteki got stuck on a lot of things too. I remember the Andalusian not as much, but the Akalteki was very, very obnoxious to ride. My Mawari and my Shire got stuck on a lot of things. Especially the Shire did not have smooth recovery. The Mawari did not turn as fast as I would have liked it, considering it's not as big as the Shire. It should not have as much of an issue as the Shire. Jumps were not great. We kept getting stuck on a lot of things on both of those horses. It was just a displeasure to ride them. And as much as I love my Mawaris, I'm probably not going to ride her again. I'm hoping that they remake this horse. But that is currently how I have those horses ranked for the month of January. And as soon as I get finished with everything, I'm going to be posting all of the horses that I'm going to be riding for the month of February. So I hope to see you guys then. Thank you for watching.